What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosa. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scotty, what's happening today, man? Happy Wednesday. It's hump day.
Yeah, we're halfway through already, and we're getting into, well, some interesting stuff around the scene here.
Ooh,
We've got some good topics.
We got some hot topics today, buddy. There's a lot going on in the world of video games. Where everybody can join us live is over at twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. You can't join us live, hit us up later, InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. We see all you beautiful people on television. Thank you for hanging out with us. Now, dude, coming up on today's show, the nominations are in for the Game Awards. Who's running for the Game of the Year? We'll get into that. The Game Awards snubs one of the most highly rated games of the year, and Saints Row is on the move. They're moving from February to August, and we'll talk about that as well. Dude, you ready?
No, another one.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably the best move for them. I'm just calling it.
Well, we need that DJ Khaled button, though, on standby for all of the delays we've had this year.
Oh, dude, there's so many delays. Last I saw, IGN put up an article of the games delayed this year, and they're at a count currently of like 52, 53. Yeah. So, yeah, they just added one more to that list. So, there's that. Dude, let's get into it because the Game Awards 2021 are here. Deathloop, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, It Takes Two, and Psychonauts 2 lead the nominations. This comes from Stephanie over at VG24. Stephanie, nominees for the Game Awards 2021 have been announced, with Deathloop, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, It Takes Two, and Psychonauts leading the pack. This year's Game of the Year nominees are those I just previously mentioned, as well as Metroid Dread and Resident Evil Village. In the Best Performance category, nominee included Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah, dude, in Far Cry 6, absolutely. Jason E. Kelly and Ozama Aka for Deathloop. Erica Mori for Life is Strange True Colors, which is a fantastic game. And Maggie Robertson for Resident Evil Village. This year, Xbox Game Studios and Bethesda is the most nominated publisher with 20 nominations, followed by Sony Interactive with 11 nominations, and Square Enix and EA with 10 nominations each. With the announcements of nominees, you can now vote. Additionally, you can help determine the best esports team category via the Game Awards Twitter DMs, as well as vote via the Game Awards Discord server. Scott, what are your thoughts on the Game of the Year nominations?
Oh, it's hard to say because each week that comes out, a whole new batch of really heavy-hitting titles comes out. So it's really, I almost expect to see a couple dozen titles in the nominations here, because it's just so, how do you pick just one? There's so many have made a huge splash. Resident Evil Village went across the world twice. Ratchet and Clank was an absolute hit for its series. Psychonauts 2, old familiar, comes back in a very artistic way. Metroid Dread, again, super rare. Haven't had one of those in 20 years. So it's really hard to say. Like the rubric for going through these has to be very extensive.
Well, I'm curious as to what is the true formula here, because let's be honest, there's only a handful of games here for the amount of games we've seen come out this year. Dude, we're missing some of the best we've seen. Hitman 3, not there. Kingdom Bridge of Spirits, not there. Dude, that's like a Pixar experience playing that game on PlayStation. It's incredible. It's a platformer. It's fantastic. Has an incredible story. That game is probably one of my Game of the Year nominations for sure. That's up there. A big one, which will lead us into topic number 2, Forza Horizon 5. Where's that one? Dude, the Metacritic score beats out all of these games. So you're kind of questioning, what is the true formula here in deciding what game gets nominated, what game is awarded the Game of the Year award. It's just, I don't know, man. Deathloop, fantastic game. These are all great games. Needless to say, they're all great. But some people are a little upset and some are missing, Scott. So, It Takes Two is one of the best co-op experiences I think I've ever played. So if you haven't played that, this is definitely worth your while. And is worth being on the Game of the Year nomination list as well. Dude, in 2020, the Game Awards saw 83 million live streams, up 84% year over year. After going all virtual last year, the show will return as a live ceremony at the Microsoft Theater on Thursday, December 9th. We will be not there live, but we'll be here live, where you can join us, hang out with us as we discuss and go over all the
I thought you were going to drop
a
a surprise vacation on me.
Nope, that's not happening, buddy. Sorry. Spotlighting the leading game studios and creatives from 2021. This year's list of nominees includes 107 different games, individuals, teams, and events. Dude, there's a lot to go over. Jeff pulls off one heck of a show every year. It has become, I saw someone reference it as the E3 of winter.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's become such a big event like that, and it's led so well and so thought out.
Absolutely.
There's really it doesn't drop in quality ever. So we've seen some presentations that are not as exciting, but I've never had that issue with Jeff.
No, not at all. So I'm curious to see, out of these top contenders, Scott, what's your prediction for Game of the Year?
Oh, it's well, it's so hard to pick just one, because I really would have expected Forza to come in higher on the list. So that really takes away my first choice there. No, Animal Crossing, was that further back than a year ago?
That was further back. They just launched some new DLC, but that's not really Game of the Year nominations. So
yeah, no, that doesn't really count. I would like to see Metroid Cruise up there, but I'm not sure if that's quite realistic. Because I don't know exactly how they judge. There's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah. So right now the top contenders are Deathloop, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, It Takes Two, and Psychonauts 2. Out of those four, it sounds like Metroid Dread and Resident Evil Village will not make that. Dude, if I'm picking, I'm stuck between It Takes Two and Deathloop. That's where I'm at. Yeah. Right? I think Ratchet & Clank is a fantastic game. It is definitely one of the best platformers this year. I just don't know if it's going to get the award itself. Deathloop, I think there's on two sides, right? If you watch my review, you can tell it's not for me. I had a great time, but it wasn't exactly what I was hoping for coming out of Arcane. Much more of the Dishonored fan base style.
Yeah,
game.
We need a Dishonored multiplayer fighter.
Dude. Wouldn't that be something? But I'm thinking, dude. I'm gonna say Deathloop takes it.
I think it's probably more of a commercial success, where It Takes Two didn't seem to have as much of a marketing hemisphere around it. It certainly did market, of course, but I'm not quite certain. Yeah. Although It Takes Two seemed to have been more received well. Where I've heard some people complain about Deathloop. I'm not really sure the validity to that, but
that's fair. I'm curious to see. We'll get into it. But dude, let's move on to the next topic, because the Game Awards snubs Forza Horizon 5 and discredits the entire game industry, a marketing event and nothing more. This comes from Jez Corden over at Windows Central. Man, he's got an opinion piece. I only took a couple snippets because he's got a whole blurb here, so let's get into this.
He's got a very hot and spicy opinion piece here.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Game Awards has increasingly positioned itself as a de facto award show for the gaming industry, turning itself into something of a mini winter E3 in the process. There we go. It's certainly starting to look that way as more and more celebrities get involved. Although the show itself, for many, has become a game news show, it's with its host and creator Jeff Keighley attracting more and more marketing eyeballs to the proceeds. How exactly are the awards chosen, though? Well, the Game Awards usually a jury panel consisting of media influencers and outlets, including some of our colleagues at Games Radar and PC Gamer, no less, who voted on the nominees for the top accolades. They also cast votes for who actually wins the awards, with a mere 10% of the vote weight coming in from the public. So there is a little bit of public in there, but not too much, right? If I was questioning the Game Awards' contingency for becoming the Oscars of the gaming industry before, I certainly am now, after seeing them snub the top-rated game of 2021, Forza Horizon 5. Scott.
Yeah, it's hard to justify how that even happened. Was it? Are they picking a list and then they stopped picking a list 2 weeks ago? Like, I'm not.
There's
I'm
got to be
not
a cutoff,
sure I
right?
understand
Because
why.
Jeff's got to send out an email and say, "Hey, I need your nominations. I need this, that, and the other." Blah 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 blah. Maybe it didn't make the cut in time because Forza just launched. Is that the issue?
Yeah,
Right? It says
that's what
Forza.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, absolutely. Forza Horizon 5 might not be a cinematic tearjerker of a game, but it's no less worthy of being nominated. This is a game that currently enjoys a position at the top of 2021's Metacritic Metascore, which averages out scores from hundreds of different review sites and YouTubers. This is the game that will probably see more players than all of the concurrent nominations combined over the course of their lifetimes. Ouch. This is a game that will touch more lives and create more friendships and relationships than all the concurrent nominees, and is also arguably the most technically impressive game on the docket. I think we have a Forza Horizon 5 fan here, Scott. Right? But I understand.
It certainly seems that where's the lie though? You know, he's not wrong.
That's
yet.
just it. I absolutely see where he's coming from. Dude, we reviewed Forza Horizon 5. We loved the game. It is still another Forza game. I think that was our biggest complaint. It's the same formula at the outcome, right? At the end of it. But when you look at the Metacritic score, dude, Metacritic has it right up the top. And he states it right here. It's one of the highest rating games this year. So how can the highest rating game this year not make it to the nominees for being best? Not even on the list, dude.
Yeah, no, that does seem quite strange. And I'm thinking it must have something to do with a cutoff, because we're not seeing the new Call of Duty. We're not seeing Battlefield, of course, not quite there.
No.
Exactly.
No.
But it's just late in the year now. Halo, of course, they're missing that. So it's...
Yeah.
I would have been much more offended on behalf of Forza if Call of Duty was on this list, because you know it's another, a reprint, which it's not, but people perceive it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm curious to see, will Forza Horizon 5 pop up somewhere else and not make it for Game of the Year? But Jez has some good points, and I do question, are they going more of a favoritism scenario than an actual here's who deserves what? You know what I mean? And I'm not knocking the nominees. That's not where I'm at. No. I'm just, maybe they need to broaden the chosen games for the Game of the Year, right? Don't limit it to just 6 titles. Let's put it to like 10, and you can bring in a couple more, or even 15. 15 might be kind of much, but I'm still like, you know what I mean? Dude, there's so many games in a year.
To give respect to these titles, though, they should compete with all of the other games this year. They deserve to compete with Forza and the like. Even if Forza's going to mop the floor, it shows you they're on that caliber to compete.
Absolutely. But let's move on. Who's not competing, because Saints Row is delayed to August 2022. Volition CCO Jim Boone said the team needs more time to do our vision justice. This comes from Daniela Pardes over at gamesindustry.biz. The launch of the upcoming Saints Row title has been pushed back by a few months to August 23rd of 2022. In an announcement, Volition Chief Creative Officer Jim Boone said the studio needs more time on the title due to the size and scope, and that it underestimated the impact that COVID would have on its schedule. Quote, our priority is to create the best Saints Row game yet, and if we release the original on date, it wouldn't be up to the standards we've set ourselves, and that you're expecting and deserve, Boone said, end quote. Quote, the team...
They got to dial up the zany a little bit to meet my expectations now. What planet are we going to?
Well, exactly, right? Yeah. Quote, the team just needs more time to do our vision justice. We're doing some fine-tuning, and there won't be much change in the game outside of overall quality and polish, end quote. Dude, okay. I'm okay with that. Polish this sucker to the 9s. Make sure everything works the way it's supposed to, because when you launch it on day one, it has to be good. It has to work, right? Otherwise, the internet goes ablaze and, hey, Saints Row doesn't work. Nobody even plays this game. And then it just demolishes everything.
Well, and we need the secondary effect of it, where it kind of increases the pressure in the room, and Grand Theft Auto is forced to respond.
Not with the trilogy?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Whoa, I've already scrubbed that from my mind.
I think a lot of people have, unfortunately, right?
Unfortunately,
and that's really is. Yeah, but either way, So, yeah, there you go. If you're looking for Saints Row, it's been pushed to August. Nothing wrong with that. Dude, what's also getting pushed a little bit is getting pushed back to 343 as the Halo Infinite Battle Pass has its issues, and 343 is giving it another look. The progression embedded into the Halo Infinite Battle Pass is is unifying blemish for the community, and the devs seem to be working on it. This comes from Connor Makar over at VG247. The Halo Infinite Battle Pass has proven to be a bit of a unifier for the Halo Infinite community, far removed from leveling systems from previous installments in 343 Industries' famous sci-fi FPS. The new approach comes alongside a new twist on the typical seasonal pass you're seeing in the majority of new multiplayer releases. For those who haven't seen it, the Battle Pass for Halo Infinite is 100 levels of free and premium content. To make your way up the pass, players need to complete a set of daily and weekly objectives that grant Battle Pass XP when completed. Sounds standard and so far, right? Well, not unlike perfectly acceptable, but Battle Passes of the titles like Apex Legends. Dude, this is very common. Battle Passes now are just a standard. 343 seems to be doing things a little bit differently, right? The problem lies in how much XP you're given. Progression feels glacial in Halo Infinite for many. Yep, the higher tier rewards, but a mirage, seeable only by squinting across the desert of long-winded busy work. Ouch, dude. Quote, we got a quote here out of them. FYI, the team is looking at Battle Pass progression and gathering data from yesterday's sessions, and we'll share updates as we have them. Please continue to share feedback and raise flags as you see them, end quote. That comes right out of 343. Dude, they hear the player feedback. It's one thing to grind a Battle Pass, but it's another thing to see it off in the distance and almost feel it's unachievable.
Yeah, no, that's really painful. It gives me thoughts back to when I was playing Destiny online.
Yeah.
And I'll be clear, I'm not that good online, okay? Sure. But what it wanted me to do to achieve certain weapons, and those who play Destiny, they know what I'm talking about. I think it's a shotgun specifically, but you have to get a 5-to-1 kill death ratio, and it's just way too hard. I can't do that in Titanfall.
Yeah.
And that's my game.
No, absolutely, right? It continues, quote, as we look at what our team needs to build, adding an entirely new progression system on top of everything else is a lot. Building a progression system with solid design, good implementation, top tier UI presentations, thorough testing, and time for polish will take some time, and we want to do it right, end quote. Dude, there's a lot of work going in behind the scenes. 343 is listening. There's definitely, I think, the biggest thing, but they maybe need to tone down some of the challenges or boost up the XP, right? Make it feel we are getting rewarded. I think that's the biggest thing players want. It's one thing to go a round or two and not kind of get too far, but at the end of round 3, at least give me something.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about it. It's sometimes somebody has to take the loss, basically. Somebody gets dumpstered, whether it's Battlefield, Call of Duty, or Halo. And to have absolutely no progression from experiences like that, it does not bring you out of that hole.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, right? Dude, let's move on to the next topic because this is one that just does not go away.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Activision Board of Directors.
I see the name there already. I know what this is.
Activision Board of Directors stand behind CEO Bobby Kotick following damning report. Activision Blizzard board backs Bobby Kotick as employees announce walkout. This comes from Joe Screbbles over to IGN. We have an update as the game industry reacts to the latest round of Activision Blizzard allegations and employees prepare a walkout. The Activision Blizzard board released a statement reiterating its support for CEO Bobby Kotick. Dude, at this point, I think that guy needs to go. This is just my stance on it. This is not cool. We will get into it. The Activision Blizzard board remains committed to the goal of making Activision Blizzard the most welcoming and inclusive company in the industry. Under Bobby Kotick's leadership, the company is already implementing industry-leading changes, including a zero-tolerance harassment policy, a dedication to achieving significant increases to the percentage of women and non-binary people people in our workforce, and significant internal and external investments and accelerated opportunities for diverse talent. Following the explosive allegations against Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick report by the Wall Street Journal, the ABK Workers Alliance announced that they would be staging a walkout. Among their demands is that Kotick step down as CEO. Quote, "We will not be silenced until Bobby Kotick has been replaced as CEO and continue to hold our original demand for third-party review by an employee-chosen source," end quote. The group was quoted on Twitter. Dude, this leads into a whole other ball of wax because a new report claims that Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick knew about alleged sexual assault and harassment allegations within the company-owned studio, but did not disclose the information to the company's board. The same report states that Jen O'Neill, who was recently made co-head of Blizzard before announcing her departure just 3 months later, has previously experienced harassment at the company, was paid less than her male counterparts, Mikey Ybarra, who came from Xbox, and has said she was tokenized by the company.
All of the negative association with trying to do a directive like that, it just doesn't seem like it's worked out the way they anticipated in her case.
No.
But Bobby Kotick has seemingly stepped up and addressed it with his own statements as the situation has just continued exploding and lighting on fire. And it's hard to say. Of course, I have no idea if he had any sort of responsibility directly in this, but the failure to report kind of is. I mean, I understand their frustration there.
No, there's a lot going on. The more and more I read into this, dude, Activision needs a complete reboot, I think, from the top down. They need to go with a bunch of people and start fresh. They need a new CEO, which is just, it's so sad to keep going in and finding more and more out of what's happened behind the scenes. Now, obviously, this is what we're reading and what we're finding out through investigating and getting these articles posted by, very positive and very well-known sources. So it's not like we're getting false information for the most part, I'm hoping. But yeah, dude, this just isn't cool, man. It's not cool at all. There's a lot going on there. Activision needs a reboot as far as I'm concerned, and there's only one way to reboot that, dude, is you start at the top and work your way back down and rebuild that company. But Scott, let's end it off, buddy, because the show is almost done. What games are coming out for today, my friend?
We have... I'm going to hit up an Xbox Game Pass update real quick here. We have Dead Space coming to the cloud, Dragon Age Origins also to the cloud, Next Space Rebels, cloud console and PC, XL1, cloud console and PC, as well as Fae Tactics, and my friend Pedro. I've had some good times with that game.
That's a fantastic
Undungeon, cloud console and PC again, Deer Simulator, Mortal Shell, that one is punishing. Yep. I'll just let everybody know there. Evil Genius 2 as well. And that's cool. Explore Vas Montenegro's Twisted Mind in Far Cry 6's DLC. It is available now. That's a big one there.
Dude, one of the best villains of the Far Cry franchise. Oh, yeah. Easily.
Of almost any franchise, really.
Yeah.
But for full releases, we have Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier, available on iOS and Android. Unfortunately, not my Android device, but that's a problem for another day.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Tamarin is coming to the Xbox One, the Series X and S.
Which is very cool. But, dude, that'll wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. This is ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over at twitch.tv/theofficialitg, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see everybody tomorrow inside the game.